Well, this is the Cardinal House's first AMA. We are very excited to host Accel. They've been a great partner of our project Chain Estate DAO. An awesome team, absolutely phenomenal. We did an AMA with their group a couple of weeks ago, so we thought we'd return the favor. And I know this is obviously a small turnout as it is our first AMA, but it will also be posted on YouTube, and hopefully we can get some more views there. But our goal is really just grow the community here to help other projects reach an audience without having to pay, these huge fees from different groups that charge for AMAs and whatnot. So we really want to make reaching a new audience affordable for other projects. So that's our mission here.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of room for, with all the crypto projects kind of coming up, I want to make sure that we're promoting a lot of things that we believe in and that kind of thing. Not a lot of people will take the money and just kind of promote whatever is, wherever the money is coming from. But I think it's really important to practice what you preach and that kind of thing. So we'll be looking through projects. If we don't like it, we're not going to be showing it to anybody else and that kind of thing. So I'm really glad we're doing this.
Yeah. So when you guys are ready, go ahead and introduce.
I think I'm finally coming through clear. You guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sir.
You can be there.
Sorry about that. I was sitting on my computer because I was like, okay, I'm going to do Discord on the computer tonight. Make this nice and easy. I had it all pulled up. And then I saw the bubbles start moving. And I couldn't hear anything. So I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to go back to the traditional Discord. I know how it works. I'm not going to play around with it. But, yeah, how you guys doing tonight? We're from Accel, me and Chris. Chris is going to be up here with me. He's our director of Accel University. He runs our YouTube page and our writing team. And my name's Scott. I run our PR and community management team, and I also run our podcast team. So it's just awesome to be out here with you guys, be the inaugural team to come out and then be hosted by you guys. It's just a great pleasure for sure.
Yeah, we appreciate having you guys on for our first AMA, and this is really special that we get to host you guys because you have been such a great partner of ours. So glad we can return the favor.
Yeah, man, we're just happy to be here. We love being a part of an inaugural event, so it's always a good thing. And we love the project, and we had a great AMA with you guys, so we're definitely looking forward to getting to hang out with you guys tonight and answer any questions there might be.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I did not know almost anything about Accel until that first AMA with Chain Estate DAO. And after kind of looking into you guys over the past week and and getting ready for this, like, you guys have a lot of stuff coming up. A lot of stuff that's super interesting. Yeah. So can you guys talk on, like, are you guys planning on just touching on a bunch of different subjects? I know you guys are very broad. Like, you have a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, we could talk for hours about all the different products and whatnot. So we're kind of open to whatever it is that people want to hear about. We can give a brief little synopsis of what we're doing over at Accel and, kind of go deeper into anything that anyone wants to touch on, if that works.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, so, Accel was kind of created out of the micro crap world of DeFi. We had a lot of different members of our team that were, highly involved in the DeFi space. Some came from different financial districts, and some of them have just been avid investors since early on in crypto. One of our founders started investing back in 2012, had a lot of luck actually early on with, what was it, Bank line that turned into Aave, and just has had a lot of success in the space. And the concept for Accel kind of came together on the principles that the space isn't really a very clean and neat space. We saw a lot of possibilities to bring a lot of different products and tools to the space that we saw as investors that were possible to get to, but they were very hard to get your hands on to understand the concept of how they work. So we kind of just wanted to come together and almost create a space where it's a one-stop shop and allows holders to come in, whether you're an initial holder that's just starting out and it's your first investment in the DeFi space, or whether you're an avid investor that's looking to come in and use one of the tools we're creating to take advantage of the market and to really be able to trade and learn the utilities and the ins and out of the space. I think that's one of the biggest issues we saw was education. And that was kind of part of the reason I wanted to bring Chris on tonight. He does an awesome job on touching on that. But, there's a lot of people that have been trading for an extended period of time, but that doesn't mean they fully understand what they're doing. And it's one of the biggest issues you kind of see in the space. Is there's a lot of money thrown around and there's not always a lot of thought behind it. And, as crypto is growing, we're definitely going to need to see a little bit of a shift in that to really see crypto as a whole, as a space to really develop. People really need to develop as traders. So that was one of the main things that we went out with the idea of creating is, educating and giving people these tools so that once they're educated, they can really make a change in their trading life and hopefully impact their life as a whole.
Awesome. I know from personal experience even that I did start day trading and tossing money here and there probably 3 or 4 years ago into crypto, and I honestly had no idea what I was doing, and I didn't really have anybody to mentor me to show me like, hey, this is a good project because X, Y, and Z. The tokenomics are good because X, Y, Z. So on. So, Chris, would you be open to touching up on like what exactly you teach new traders on? Because it sounds like a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the idea here is that, like Scott said, like Moon said, there's a lot of people who are kind of just going with the flow or following along when it comes to like the DeFi space, and especially when it comes to altcoins. And one of the things that we try to do is kind of, at least on my end, provide people with a more, balanced or well-rounded understanding of crypto. So, we cover topics from like technical analysis, which some people may find useful, some might not. And then we touch upon some more in-depth topics. So, for example, our most recent video was on yield farming and staking pools. And again, the idea behind all of that is, as Accel as a company continues to build out the technology and the resources that we make available, not only to our own holders, but to other projects in the crypto space, we want people to be actually able to use them and have an understanding of what's actually happening. So, for example, Accel's building out these farming pools, and we're providing the ability to stake. We're providing the ability to actually go in and provide LP, right? So liquidity provision, things like that. And what we found out is like a lot of people might not actually care about that because they don't understand fundamentally behind it the value in that kind of technology or the value in actually providing that to people. So, we went ahead and we made a video, we made a resource for it, and we kind of build out that information so that as more and more tech comes out via Accel, and as more and more projects partner with us, we can just increase the baseline level of understanding that everyone who is exposed to us has, right? So that these people can be more involved and more interactive in the DeFi space, right? And try to bring up the level of, I guess, education for everyone that we kind of interact with.
Yeah, that's good. I definitely think that education is key in crypto because there's not a whole lot of places to learn that. But let's move on to another fun topic. I saw a lot of Twitter action about the game or the new card game that you guys had partnered with. I'm curious to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we're real excited about PHLIP, which is the game you're talking about. And there's a lot of things behind this side of the project, right? Behind this game itself. But at its most baseline level, what we're doing here is we're creating a P2E game, right? So play to earn. And it's also free to play. So it's a free to play game in which players can earn money. And it's a card matching game. So if you've played something like Cards Against Humanity, Apples to Apples, What Do You Meme, for example, all of those types of physical card games. This is really similar and also inspired by those, but what we've done is we've actually put it on the blockchain. And so with that comes a couple of different extra sources of utility or value paired to it, right? So, for example, anybody who plays this game can now have access to the ability to actually earn money, earn rewards for playing this game. And then we also have an NFT platform that's integrated into this game where now you can go ahead and actually mint NFTs of the playing cards that are actually used in game. So the analogy that people would use is imagine you go to play Cards Against Humanity with your friends, right? And half of the deck is blank. So now what do you do? Well, you have to obviously come up with jokes for that deck. And if you have a really good joke or a really good card, you can claim ownership over that card. And now every single time that card comes up again in the deck and someone else plays it, strangers playing PHLIP online and they use your card, your NFT points back to you, and so you earn rewards on that. So you're essentially getting passive income on your jokes, right? And there's a lot of resource built behind essentially what's just like kind of a really funny, really stupid, card game. But we have the technology in the back end that actually makes this a really fun project too.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that. Just getting rewards for just being a comedian. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the cool part is like the funnier you are,
Yeah.
essentially the more rewards you're getting, right?
Mm-hmm. So
And you don't even have to know it either. I think that's the best part about it. We made it so that you basically play the game, all you got to do, go to the site, you type in your email. We're going to send you a generated email that actually is going to create a custodial wallet. So you're basically going to be getting people into crypto without them even knowing they're getting into crypto.
that is awesome. I love the fact that it's just so user friendly. I did not realize that part of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's a
I think that's something that's really cool is like, you can play this game with your friends who don't care to know about crypto,
Mm-hmm.
and they still could get paid, right? They could still get those rewards. They might not even have a crypto wallet. And like Moon just said, the game will make one for them, right? So really it's kind of the limitation is just on how creative the community is able to be. But aside from that, there's no other barriers of entry or something like that. The game itself, you don't even need a DApp to play it. You could just play it in your browser, like in your web browser. You open Google Chrome, someone goes to phlip.io, right? And that's it. So really trying to make it as user friendly, easy entry, and allow people to kind of dictate the direction of the game once it's released. Allow the community ownership aspect of it to really take over and kind of shape the way it looks.
one of my favorite things too about it. So you can make these private rooms and you can put up to 8 people in them. And once you create the room, it's there forever. There's no deleting the room. There's no leaving the room. So, if you have that one friend that's like a poor loser and just stops playing, you only need 4 people to play. So you can keep that room alive as long as you have 4 people playing.
Gotcha.
that's a really cool concept. I bet that helps with community engagement as well. So it's really unique.
So when people do earn these tokens, what are they getting? What token are they earning?
So PHLIP is actually governed by 2 distinct tokens. So
Mhm.
one is that in-game currency, the reward token, and then the second is actually the DAO token. And so anybody who's playing, whether they own an NFT in game or not, has access to earn those rewards, which can then be cashed out in the form of other cryptocurrencies. But that's the reward token. And then the separate is that ownership aspect, the DAO token, which is actually in charge of the decision-making process for the game, right? So, for example, people who are participating right in the DAO get to vote on the actual deck itself, so they can actually vote out your card. For example, if you're not funny, you get
Mhm.
kicked, right? Like you. So really, the limitation for the deck kind of again comes back to the DAO. Is like the DAO is going to shape how the game looks.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. That's really interesting. That is awesome. It's
One of
like,
the things that I
sorry, keep
think
going.
is going to be pretty funny is that like I foresee or I could imagine that uh, as the DAO grows, we're going to end up getting a lot of like inside jokes or games that are more specific to the community. And so it's going to be funny to see how that communal aspect grows over time. Especially as like there's going to be like a ranking system and things like that. So as that grows, right, the players who are more popular and more active, will end up having a larger say in the game. And I kind of picture it being like a free for all, and really that's the kind of thing is we want to invite that kind of degenerate energy to this space and really say, you know, hands off, go have fun and do what you want, right?
That's awesome. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, so there'll like be a leaderboard. So like you guys can have a Chainlink style team, or you guys can go in and you guys can check where you guys are as the team, go right through, follow it, see how you compete against the other teams. I think that's just the kind of one of the coolest concepts, like Chris says, is you'll be able to go through and kind of check these different leaderboards and see who it is that's actually funny.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool concept and something I will definitely be trying out after this AMA because that sounds fun. But I know you guys have such a broad options of things that people can interact with. Like I know you guys got staking, you even have a launch pad, different services you offer to other projects to help them grow. I'd be curious to hear a little bit more, especially about the staking. I know you guys had like a new platform for staking come out recently. I don't know if that was past couple of weeks, but I know that was pretty hyped up from our contacts in Accel, or even bridging from our to BNB. I know that was in the last few weeks too, and your future plans to bridge to other networks as well.
Yeah, I'll touch on. There you go, Chris. You want to do
take it?
staking? I'll do the bridge.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, basically, as we grow, obviously, we want to be able to diversify what kind of utility our users can take advantage of, right? And so, like, for example, like you just mentioned, that involves redoing our staking pools. Like I mentioned earlier, adding yield farming ability, right? We have that multi-chain internal bridge. So all of that is integrated into our new DApp that came out, and so it's in beta. But you can basically access it, and right now the staking side is live and the bridge side is live. And the staking side allows you to easily access the staking pools for Accel on both ETH and also BNB, which are the two chains we're live on at the moment. Again, we're going to be adding future chains later this year. But for now, basically, that staking pool functionality will allow you to track how many tokens you have staked, the rewards that you're generating as a staked holder, and you can then withdraw them really easily. Super simple process. We even added a functionality where, for example, if you're in MetaMask and you are on the Ethereum network and you click on BNB, it'll swap that network over automatically for you. So really just, again, improving that ease of access to try and just allow a frustration-free process for our holders, right?
And that's huge because I think that's one of the big deterrents from crypto right now is we're in such an early stage that there isn't that user-friendly side of it. It's all, like even before, like when people had, before there was even any centralized exchange, like it was even more complicated, but we're slowly moving towards that, just that ease of access. And a lot of people are going to be joining because of that.
No, yeah, definitely. That's been one of the biggest aspects. I think we started from the beginning. One of our founders and CEO, and his key phrase is he wants it to be so easy that a 6-year-old can use it. And every time he checks in with the development team, he's always like, "Could my 6-year-old understand it? Could my 6-year-old use it?" And he doesn't always get the best looks and responses to that answer sometimes, but it's definitely what we want to aim towards. We want people to feel comfortable and, feel like they're at home when they're coming in and using these platforms for the first time. Because I think we've all been there in our early stages, trying to use a different platform, whether it was a bridge or you were trying to use a different network to buy, and it was just never that easy, and it made it hard to want to branch out. As Chris kind of said, we made it as user friendly with the app as far as being able to see the two different networks. We have it set up so you can see the BNB and you can see the Ethereum right on the same page. And going into the bridge, the bridge was something that really excited me because we got to kind of bring some tech that is used on and off in different areas of DeFi, but it isn't very well utilized. And that's the concept of an acid bridge. And what an acid bridge basically does is it allows you to take your supply and keep it fixed on one chain that is then distributed across. And basically, it copies and mints a new copy of the token onto the new chain. And so basically, the way that works is you have your central network that it's ran off of. In our case, that's Ethereum. So what we have to do is we have our 5 billion supply. And so whenever any tokens want to get sent to a new chain, we create the bridge and we set an amount of supply based on whether it's a pre-sale or whatnot into the bridge. What this allows you to do is keep that fixed supply. So when people go to take out their tokens on the BNB side, those Ethereum tokens are going to now be locked into the bridge. So they're basically, as in they're like a staking, think of it as almost a staking capsule. And they're taken out of supply, and then the new tokens are minted on the BNB chain, adding to the supply to allow it to stay fixed at the same exact number. So this basically allows you to get away from the dilution that you see in cross-chain projects. Right now, when you create a cross-chain project, it's really more being on different chains connected by a bridge rather than it is a true cross-chain supply that is, fixed in a sense. You want to make sure that you're using the same supply and not causing dilution every single time you try to add a chain.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I foresee that people will be using more and more of. I know we are looking to partner with you guys, as in Chain Estate DAO is looking to partner with you, Accel, to create a bridge to Polygon in the near future. And we're really excited to work with your lead developer on the bridging technology, because that is something that is essential, at least in my opinion. It's pretty essential to have that dilution taken care of.
It just makes sense, right? It just makes sense.
Right. It's something that definitely needs to be addressed for the long-term sustainability of a project. So I'm glad you guys are thinking ahead like that.
Hey, that's what we're here for, to work together. I mean, that's a big thing in the space that I think a lot of projects have an issue with. And you see a lot of problems happen because they kind of try to stay within their circle to solve all their issues. And guess what? We're in an innovative space. You can't stay within your little comfy circle with your little comfy blanket and your little fuzzy slippers.
Yep.
It's all about working together, honestly. I mean, it's such, like I said, it's such new tech that there's too much going on to know everything. There's too many different avenues to be the best at all of them.
Exactly. Right there.
So can I ask a question real quick? What, for each of you, what is your favorite piece or favorite project or part of a project that Accel is doing right now?
That's easy for me. I say the same thing every time. I think what Chris is doing with the education side of things, I think in the long run, it just takes the cake for me. I mean, what that allows people to be able to do as a trader, just by understanding some simpler concepts, it makes bounds and leaps. And I think in the long run, that's what really has the impact on the space, is allowing us to grow traders and turn them into from day traders to real investors.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Chris?
I mean, it's pretty hard to kind of narrow down a specific aspect of what Accel is doing, because again, we're doing so much. And I don't know if this counts, but ultimately, I think the technology that's specifically being built behind the scenes, that kind of allows us to partner and provide it to future projects, is going to be my favorite aspect. So, like for example, tomorrow we're hosting a meeting with our devs who are you know, working on some of these latest updates, and one of them is going to talk a little bit in depth about what he's working on behind the scenes for like the PHLIP project, for example. And one of the craziest things that I discovered recently after talking to him in person is that the like technology, the protocols behind PHLIP, the game, actually have real world DeFi usage outside of just that game. And so that's something that, once he builds it, is going to be able to be, provided to other people in the DeFi space, and allow us to not only increase the, partnerships that we're working on and help build up these other projects, help accelerate them, but again, just provide like actual usable tech to, I think that's like going to be our biggest contribution to DeFi as a whole, are these like custom protocols on the back end that are really cool when you think about it.
All the unseen work that's kind of happening.
Exactly.
I love it.
I'll give you the typical answer that you're looking for. I'll give you an actual product, and it's because kind of easy for me, I guess. I think where it was formerly the Unracked app, it's going to be called the Trade Saver app now, I believe. But having the ability, it's going to be a stop loss application, limit trading, and just having the ability to bring that into the DeFi space for me is huge, because I'm from New York and all my friends are horrible traders. Absolutely horrible traders. They get racked at least once a week, and I cannot listen to them and complain anymore, and I can't help them anymore. So once we get this application out, it's kind of good riddance here. I don't want to hear any complaints. The limit trading application we're building is going to cost 0 gas to set the limits. So until that limit's actually executed, you're not going to have to pay any gas. So there's really no complaint. There's no complaining. So I am super excited for that to come out, and just the ability to give people a tool like that, and allow them the ability to sleep at night, not have to worry about it.
Is that one of the bigger pieces that is being worked on now, or is that kind of in the future?
No, that's that's getting very close.
Okay.
It would have been hopefully out a little bit sooner, but with everything going on in the world right now, some of the development team was kind of in the middle of what was going on over there. But luckily, there wasn't too much of an issue. Our devs have been in contact with this development firm that's been building this out 2 or 3 times a week since November. So it has definitely been coming along. It should be a Q2 product without a doubt. We're hoping to have some more sound dates here in the next week or two. But that is definitely an earlier product for Accel that we're really excited about.
Yeah, that's big news. That's a huge thing. That is awesome.
Yeah, and just to expand on that, like how awesome this application actually is like it works across multi-chain. Like it works across like there's some applications out now that have limit trading functionality and things like that for altcoins, but this one is actually like scalable. It works across any chain. It's an app you just like kind of plug and play, and is designed for like any altcoin, right? So this idea that you can have one central application that you do all of your trading on, and it keeps you from getting wrecked, and it doesn't cost gas to use until the order is executed. Like, oh man, I'm excited for that one too.
Yeah, that honestly sounds like one of the bigger developments in, for the year. Like that I think it's going to be very underrated, but people will soon start realizing how big that is.
Yeah, I think we have a couple applications like that. One that I just want to touch on really quickly that kind of gets thrown in the background, but is also one of my favorite products that we've been working on. It's taken a little more time, and we're actually going to be pulling a little bit more work from our PHLIP dev to work on. But we are creating an escrow pay system that's going to be basically setting milestones to allow not just developers, but different traders to have a 2-sided trade and not have to worry about it anymore in the space. I'm sure you guys have already ran into the issue at least once or twice. You pay for a service and you just don't get it, and there is no way to get your money back or to really even do anything about it. It's just, okay, I guess I'm going to try to find the next person that might be legitimate in the space and hope that they actually do what they're supposed to do. But we kind of wanted to find a way around that, and right now we're developing an application that will basically work that way. It will have milestones set in place and arbitration as well, to make sure that one side doesn't try to pull anything sneaky on the other, but it basically allows a safe space to allow these different transactions to go down in DeFi. And it's another thing that's a little bit of a head scratcher why it doesn't exist yet. But hey, we'll take the time, we'll put the money in, and we'll make it great.
Yeah, running a project myself, I definitely see the absolute necessity for that service in the crypto space, because the amount of DMs I get every day requesting of a marketing proposal or what have you, it is ridiculous. So I will definitely be using that service. That is huge in my world, at least. So yeah, is there any other products that you guys are working on that we're missing?
We touched briefly on the Launchpad, so we can kind of go into that a little bit. The concept behind the Launchpad that we wanted to create was a little bit different. Our Launchpad isn't just a Launchpad, but it also allows the ability to incubate and accelerate projects. There's a little confusion sometimes when we say that. What that means in the business world is you're basically taking on a project and helping it reach its developmental needs that it needs. More times than not, you're taking on partial ownership of the project. So we do offer that, and that's actually what's going on with PHLIP. And then we also do have the a la carte option on the Launchpad side. What that allows is people to come in, whether you're, a true developer, someone with a concept for a project, and it allows you to come in and basically pull the different pieces that you need to create the project. We have a variety, I think it's 50 or 60 codes that you can go in and pick and make your contract as needed. We offer the different marketing supplies. We offer the different UI UX creation to create a website or whatever it is you need. So it's basically a one-stop shop with the Launchpad. Right now, it actually is functioning on the back end. We are building out the front end at this time. We want to kind of try to make that as easy as possible, where someone can go right in and basically see all the options and allow them to create what it is they want to come to us with, and we can basically get that going, basically through an interaction on the Web3 side of it with that. It's taken a little bit to build out that front end, but it is, with great pleasure. We got to announce a few weeks ago that the back end was complete for that.
That's exciting.
How big?
Yeah, I think.
Sorry, keep going.
No, I was just going to say, I think he touched on a really good point, really important one, in the sense that Accel, as a whole, in its essence, is an accelerator, right? And so, like, that launch pad, I feel like people have an idea that, like, a launch pad needs to be its front end, right? It needs to be like an app on a site, but really, like, we as a business are the launch pad, right? So that back end is ready, and it's what we're using to accelerate PHLIP, for example. And so, like, one of the things that I mentioned earlier, for example, is, like, let's say that technology behind PHLIP that we're building out now, like, we're designing it to be scalable so that it's not just something that's built only for PHLIP. And this is something that you'll hear from our CTO. He likes to talk about this a lot, is that if you build something, build it to be scalable and build it for multiple uses, right? So it wouldn't make sense for Accel to build a technology that only applies to PHLIP. When we can build it bigger and better, and then now have multiple uses for it, and then be able to also provide that to other people too.
Thinking ahead, for sure.
Absolutely.
I think those are words to live by.
Yeah, and I think one of the cool things that you can kind of see that already with PHLIP is, we got to go out and we were sitting down with our developers out at South by Southwest, and, Matt's sitting there saying, look, I just read and talked to two different projects that are pretty legitimate projects that are building an NFT launchpad. He said, we are building an NFT launchpad as one of the protocols inside of PHLIP. He says that will now be scalable. That'll now be something that we can sell to any project that wants to buy it. And there's projects out in the DeFi space that their entire project is centered around something like that.
This is a much bigger scale than originally anticipated, then I bet.
Yeah, and adding on to that, so this is totally change of topic though, I guess, but I'm looking at your market cap, and on Coin Market Cap, at least, it says it's 1.8 million, but the fully diluted market cap is 48 million. So as a trader from outside looking in, that fully diluted market cap number kind of scares me a little bit. And then also your $1.8 million market cap for a project this large kind of baffles me. Like, I don't know how you guys aren't, upwards of almost 100 million at this rate that you guys are growing and innovating. So I'm just curious to hear your thoughts on that.
I'll let Chris handle the full supply or the fully supplied question, and I can kind of handle right now the market cap you see now. One of the biggest issues that we had early on, we had some team members that departed from the team that were originally part of the launch pad. That initial launch pad was supposed to be up and functional in early January, and it was supposed to be our first product that was out. Once that happened, we kind of took a look as a team, reevaluated some things, and brought on not more professional, but a little bit more seasoned individuals to handle some of the back end work. And instead of rushing it out, we took the time to rebuild everything the way that we wanted it done correctly on the launch pad. And it caused a little bit of a delay in some of the products because we had to pull people off of this and that to work. And, it caused your initial little bit of sell-off. We do have a large amount of seed investors that are locked up for a year with those tokens unlocking each month. So that's part of the reason why you see that huge gap in supply. But I'll let Chris kind of touch a little bit more on the total supply and how that works into the next 24 to 36 months.
Yeah, so one of the things to keep in mind is the nature of Accel's initial token generation event, and then also our integration across multi-chain. So to talk about the token generation event, that first part, when we initially began with our circulating supply, all that was released from that supply was 65 million tokens. And overall, the Accel token as a whole has a permanent 5 billion supply, right? As Moon talked about earlier, we implemented that acid bridge, which is that unique solution that prevents the dilution of our token across multi-chain. So when we expand across multi-chain, right, that total supply is not going to increase. It's locked there, right? And so one of the things that you see is that what we're doing is we're preserving our allocation on the total supply for long-term distribution, right? So a majority of the supply is locked and is reserved for future needs, right? So those could be, for example, reserved for acquisitions, directing supply towards central exchanges, of which we're listed on 2 currently, things of that nature. So when you kind of look at the fully diluted market cap, it doesn't really take into consideration the unique situation we have with that acid bridge, with our project existing on multi-chain, and things of that nature, right, with the tokens that were allocated to central exchanges. But for the most part, really, that's the I guess the main point to take away is the fact that we have limited ourselves now in what is currently available for circulation, so that as the project grows, we don't end up in a situation that requires the minting of new tokens or something like that. What you find is a lot of projects that don't prepare or anticipate for that in advance, further down the road, end up in a situation where the a majority of the supply has been given out and is in circulation, and they no longer have control over that aspect, right? So this is something that we're really reserved and I would say careful, because we understand the need to prevent that type of situation. And just in regards to current market cap, I think one of the things that you're seeing right now, and you said, oh well, this should be something that's at 100 million, why isn't it? And really the idea behind that is right now we're really small And it's a really small space in which we operate in, right? Right now, a majority of our community is located on Telegram. And when you look at DeFi as a whole, it's a really large space. And so as we grow out of our current corner of DeFi, right? I mean, everybody starts in a little corner somewhere. And as you expand and grow and reach out to new people, that's how you kind of start to see um, a quick or compounding effect. Separate to that, I do think there is an aspect where a lot of people are anticipating the release of some of these products or certain utilities. And, there's a lot of people who are waiting for the unwrapped application. There are a lot of people who are excited for FLIP's release. The escrow payment services we have people ask about all the time, and that's something that's going to be in development for quite a while to make sure we get it right the first time. So when you think about such a small market cap, you also have to realize that Accel as a project is really, really young. When you can measure how long our token has been live in days as opposed to months, that's where you kind of get a better understanding, right? Like we only launched on Ethereum chain, that first chain, on January 7th after our pre-sale projects combined. And so, you go from January 7th, right now it's March 21st. That's a really short amount of time for all of the different products and utilities that we're launching. And so we do have a long-term picture and a long-term outlook, and we have an understanding that as these products and utilities come to market, we can then attract the right type of businesses, the right type of audience, and also continue on our expansion.
Yeah, good answers. Just to clarify, I don't mean that in any disrespect. Like 1.8
Oh,
million
not at all.
market cap is awesome, and yes, crypto is a massive space. But I'm just saying, like, you guys have so many different services and partners that you guys are working with that this has a massive potential from an investor outside looking in. Like the potential here is phenomenal, and the reason I asked for the fully diluted market cap answer is because I was looking at your guys' information, and I was actually looking to invest myself, and that number just scared me a little bit, and I figured, oh well, we're having an AMA with them, I'll just ask them then. So
as you can see, we get that question quite often, so we got a pretty good response ready for you.
Yeah, and a lot of people I think get kind of worried about that, but again, it's from that mental state of like someone who is accustomed to the altcoin space and the degen space, and that's where we've come from. And so we've had that question from a lot of our own holders as well. And ultimately, one of the things we have to kind of train or educate people on, which again is why we spend a lot of time and resources on that, is to understand the value of the technology behind the scenes, right? As opposed to looking at this as a token of just face value.
Yeah, that's you guys are definitely forward thinking, and I think that a lot of people, especially in the Binance chain, let's be real, they have the shiny object syndrome, and they're looking for that next Olympus DAO that's going to do 100x, and then once that doesn't work out for them, they go on to the next one, and then they don't realize the actual projects that have legitimate fundamental value.
Yep.
And it's only a matter of time before that catches on.
If we can get those Binance traders, man, even if just get them trading a little bit more like the Ethereum traders, that's all I want. Ethereum's not much better, but they're a little bit, man. Over there, it's just like anything that's shiny in the freaking BNB phase. I mean, like you see the same coin with like a slightly tweaked name on the top 10 for Dex Tools trending on the BNB side for like 3 weeks. Different projects, close to the same name though.
Yeah, I think we
can. I will say,
sorry,
if there's a customer base for our limit trading application, it's definitely the degenerates over on BNB,
right? So I think I could tell that Chris, you are well versed in and kind of going through how to explain, what's going on and how to teach people. If you are working with someone that they're coming to you, do you do sessions? Like how is everything kind of done with Accel as far as the education side? Or is it more of a broad audience type thing, or just articles and that kind of thing that you write?
Well, so right now we're focused on kind of the broader picture where we're releasing videos on YouTube on our channel called Accel University. We have a Medium page where we publish some articles. There's a Git book, which kind of serves as a like all about us. It's an Accel wiki. And so like those are really where I spend a lot of time and effort kind of updating all of the more minute details about Accel and kind of spending time to explain all of these utilities in a way that should make sense to the, average investor or, just a regular trader. Um, and then one of our focuses is eventually to pivot towards kind of community exclusive resources, some educational tutorials, things like that. So almost like an educational DAO of sorts, where we can kind of reward our holders with exclusive resources. But yeah, basically right now we're trying to take that broader approach and really, again, we're trying to teach people the value in some of these things we're building. Like, for example, if you look at yield farming, it's a huge part of crypto, gigantic. The users who yield farm tend to only look for projects where they can continue to yield farm, right? Liquidity provision, so providing LP, is a gigantic side of crypto as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I come back to this is because I imagine if you ask a large percentage of the people in this space, how much do you know about yield farming or how much do you know about providing liquidity? That answer is probably going to be a pretty small percentage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's kind of a syndrome of the corner in which we grew out of. And so trying to, again, educate to our holders and to the people in this space, no, this is why you need to kind of diversify and look at these other parts of crypto, is because it's a really big world out there and we're just in a small corner. And there's a million different ways that you could be uh, active in crypto, right? There's a million different ways that you can participate in the crypto sphere. And so being able to learn about more of them just kind of increases your chance at success and also increases your ability to participate.
Yeah, I really like that. I really like that. Are you then, on that note, are you educating both on how to do certain things, like how to, purchase this, or is it more of a what everything is in this whole space?
It's definitely a little bit of both. And like I'll give you an example. We post those educational videos on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube. Um, and again, the idea behind a lot of them is to try and talk about the value behind some of the products or services we're bringing to market, some of the utilities that the project is making. But separately, I made some how-tos, and one of the ones that I made prior to Accel going on multi-chain was a simple, I think, 2-minute video on how to add BNB to your MetaMask application, right? How to add that chain. And that was the most watched video on the YouTube channel because it turned out that for Accel to launch on BNB, that was actually the first time that a large portion of our community were getting that exposure to that side of crypto, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had a couple of people who, are already familiar, but there was a huge influx of users in our community, in our Telegram, who had no clue uh, about that side of things. And so, like, that was the largest watched video for a little bit. And it was funny because I'm like, BNB is a whole other side. There's a
Mm-hmm.
whole other world over there on the Binance Smart Chain. And to kind of see that in real time for me to understand that, like, some of these how-tos that I might consider simple are actually things that people are like dipping their toes in for the first time is why we also need to create those basic how-tos and tutorials as well.
Yeah, I think that's huge. Like, people don't realize how, or like, crypto is still in its earlier phases, and people don't realize, like, the people that are kind of on the edge about things aren't going to, to Dexes to do their trading. They're going to Coinbase. They're going to, OKCoin. They're going to different places, but they're all centralized. And so, even that small tutorial, and I'm sure, like, that was awesome to see. Like, people really want to learn how.
Well, it just makes you
Absolutely.
realize, yeah, that's what it makes it. I think it's more, it kind of makes you realize that there's a lot of people out there that just don't fully understand it. And they don't have people like Chris, like some of us do, or our Mads that were able to sit down and explain it to us one day. Some people just don't have that luxury.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to remember that. And I think, it's been a humble experience for us to realize some of the, shortcomings that we thought were simple things that people we thought they understood. And Chris said, no, 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 no. We got to start all the way back at the basics.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
You guys are hanging out with like people that are, in the top 99% of, people that are educated on these topics, not the middle 50%.
Yeah, we forget how spoiled
Absolutely.
we are.
Like one of the things that Mad said that really stuck with me, our CTO, was that there's about, I think the number is 30 million people in the United States who have participated in crypto, right?
Mm-hmm.
But only 3 million have actually participated on decentralized exchanges on DEXs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's such a small percentage,
That is
right? Like
wild.
it's really in the last like year, 2 years where we see um, the DEXs grow in popularity. And then even when they grow in popularity, like Uniswap only has 3 million users,
Really?
maybe a
I
little
never
less.
knew.
Crazy.
Yeah. Like
Crazy.
think about how small of a number that is. And for us, for people who are in the crypto space, we're like, wow, Uniswap is everywhere. It's huge. It's the biggest thing, and it's like 3 million users.
Less than 1% of
Tiny.
the population of the US.
Exactly.
That is crazy. I've never seen those numbers, so I've never realized that.
Well, I think it's just one of the biggest thing it allows you to think is innovation and the possibility of being the next Uniswap. It's really within just about anyone's grasp.
Mm-hmm.
There's really no mainstream. There's one or two, platforms that are used right now for different things. I think anyone that's been around long enough to, watch the .com craze and how much the internet has expanded from then, you're going to see the same thing in blockchain. And, getting in early and creating the tech early is the most important part. Making sure that you have those user-friendly processes in place before the masses come in, that makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, one
Definitely.
question I had for you guys was one thing that we are planning on doing in the next few months is coming out with a payment flow on our website so that you can purchase our chain of state tokens directly with a debit card or a wire transfer. And that allows us to be able to reach out to people that aren't into crypto yet or people that aren't comfortable with interacting with decentralized exchanges. Is that something that you guys are looking at doing in the future to kind of get those newer users involved, or have you guys not thought of that yet?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question?
One thing that
It cut
we
out
are
a little bit on my end.
Oh, sorry about that. One thing that we are doing as Chain of State is we are allowing or looking to implement a payment system on our website that allows users to purchase our token directly with a debit or credit card or a wire transfer. And that's going to open the doors for a lot of new people to come in that aren't comfortable with operating on a decentralized exchange or doing all the crypto mumbo jumbo with transferring from wallet to wallet and buying it on a centralized exchange and whatnot. Is that something that you guys are looking at implementing, or if not, would that be something that you guys would be open to taking a suggestion at least?
Yeah, I mean, anything that we can do to, create a ease of access situation is ideal. And so at the moment, we don't have anything in the works for like a direct purchase on our site using fiat. But we have a couple of things that help mitigate that. For example, like I said, being available to be purchased on central exchange is something that we are currently allowing, and usually we find that that's actually pretty easy for a lot of people. And then, like, for example, one of the other things that we're trying to do in combination with like fiat is also, for example, we have a partnership for a cold storage card, and this company that we're partnering with has a V2 version of that card that'll be coming out and be available to our holders. And essentially, what it'll do is it'll act almost like a credit slash debit card that also allows you to store your crypto on there, right? And so, what we're looking into is kind of really maximizing our ability to exchange Accel for other sources of value, right? So, for example, right now our Acid Bridge is live, which allows you to easily, like, 2-click, transfer your Accel from Ethereum to BNB, and eventually we're going to be adding Polygon and etc. In addition to that, we're also adding a swap integrated onto the site as well. So now you can directly swap. If I need to go from Accel to BNB to cash out, or if I need to swap from another cryptocurrency back over to Accel, right? These are all, I guess, ideas that kind of join together and just make it more easy to kind of navigate and participate. So yeah, we are trying to make it easier for sure. We definitely hold that, I guess, as a priority. And like Moon said, Nino wants to make it so easy his 6-year-old can use it, right?
Yep. That's good. That's something that we definitely see an opportunity with. And Pops, I saw you try to speak, but I think I cut you off on that, so sorry about that. If you want to go ahead and ask your question, you go right ahead.
It wasn't more of a question, more than just a comment. I really love the education aspect that you guys have going on. Coming from somebody that, I try to teach as much as possible in my Discord and everywhere else. But yeah, the DeFi world is very small compared to the rest of crypto, and it's amazing how daunting it can be just for somebody to set up a MetaMask. It's crazy. It's something that we do second nature, is just really hard for other people to grasp unless they have somebody to walk them through it. And I really love that you guys are doing that.
Yeah, one of the biggest places we actually saw, something that seems very minuscule to someone like us, is we have a lot of Trust Wallet users. And as you guys know, the Trust Wallet has taken their browser out of the Apple application. And, there's a lot of people that still haven't made the change. And most of those people that still haven't made the change because they don't fully understand the technology. And as we were integrating people in and just trying to get them to import their private key into a MetaMask wallet, it was something that we thought was going to be a very simple process. Wasn't going to need too much explanation. Like 3 or 4 videos later and a few graphics, we finally got it down. But it was a learning curve for us to realize that something simple like that might take a little bit extra time.
Yeah, MetaMask is definitely a little more difficult to navigate for somebody that's not used to it than Trust Wallet. And me,
Agreed.
I keep all my BSC trades on Trust Wallet because it's just easier that way to swap to Smart Chain and just do the trade right there on Pancake Swap. The DApp is already integrated into Trust Wallet, so it makes it a lot easier for BSC. Now, any other chain, that's all on MetaMask. But yeah, it is definitely, somebody just setting up a network on MetaMask can be really hard if they don't know what they're doing.
100%. It's the little things that you got to make sure you just got to explain is really what it comes down to. People just want to understand what they're doing. And once you give them the knowledge to understand what it is exactly they're doing, people are a lot quicker to, come to you and ask questions and be willing to branch out of their little circle in more other aspects than what you're just working on right at that time.
Right. I mean, for sure. And just like, in TG, and I will put something together, how to add, whatever, or like testnet or anything like that. I'll put it together and I'll just pin it. And if they have any questions after that, then they can ask. But it's amazing just how many people don't even know how to look for the pins in a chat. It's a lot of people are very new to the space, especially in some projects that like Chain of State. Some of these people are just regular investors, and they saw a great opportunity, but they didn't know the crypto space. So integrating that is, it's a work in progress. Like you were talking about adding LP, people didn't know they could do that. I always do. I literally always do. In every long-term project, I just throw it all into LP. But they didn't know they could do that.
It's a very LP farming is a pretty simple concept on the outside, but the process itself can be a little confusing and daunting when you're first doing it. You're sending tokens in LP, so people are a little bit confused about it. But once you start doing it, the concept behind LP farming and yield farming, it makes sense. It's a protocol that makes sense. For the long-term longevity of projects, if you're there for the long run and you see, the potential and volume and whatnot, it makes sense. So, it's definitely something that people that are in the DeFi space should definitely, first off, go listen to our video. And then second off, if you got some more questions, do your own research, come talk to us. We're always open to have conversations. Open up a VC, bring in Chris or one of the other guys that understands it very in depth. And we'll sit there and chat with you as long as you'd like.
Same. Yeah, I mean, if anybody has any questions, you can always ask me also. I'm always down to, help people and teach them, especially when it comes to trading. That's my specialty is trading, TA, and everything else. So if anybody has any questions, you can always ask me if you see me, and I'll be around everywhere, all over BSC.
All right.
I'm involved in so many projects, it's stupid.
Yeah. Well, we're happy to have you with us, and I know we're a little bit over an hour now, so if there's any last things that you guys want to touch up to, or if you guys want to hand it over to the audience to ask some questions, it's totally up to you guys. This is your AMA, so yeah. Want to hand it over to the audience, or are there any other last things you guys want to touch up on?
I think I kind of touched on everything. I don't know if Chris wants to add anything, but we could definitely turn it over to the audience, see if anyone has any questions they want.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. We're happy to answer any questions. So.
All right. Well, if anybody has questions, they can click the raise your hand button, and then we can invite you on stage.
Don't be shy.
Pac-Man Jr., you are invited to speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey guys, I had a quick question on the role in Sodom, the soldiers of the metaverse, and what the implications of people buying those now, and like what they will receive as far as possible whitelists for Flip or anything in the future.
Yeah, so Sodom, for anyone who doesn't know, Soldiers of the Metaverse, was the first Accel gaming division offering. And essentially, that was a project that we came in and took over to help accelerate the development of their P2E game, which is a Mortal Kombat style video game, which the users can play using their NFTs, which are soldiers. right now, our main focus again is on developing that game. So for anyone who uh, goes in and is interested in participating on that side of things, they can definitely go and acquire soldiers out on OpenSea right now. And I imagine that as the game gets closer to its beta release and is playable, we'll see a increase in not only the volume but also in just the excitement for Sodom. And so I think that is something that will grow. Um, and so really, if it's something that you're interested in, then getting in early, buying a soldier off the marketplace or something like that is an option you could do, or you could wait and play the beta when it comes out and see if it's to your liking. So that's one of the things that we're working on, and there's a pretty active community around there, a really passionate community as well. So we're just really excited to be working with a project that has such large support from its holders. And then as far as like Flip whitelist, we are now getting to basically the initiation of the whitelist and that offering. And so we're going to be announcing details shortly about who qualifies for the Flip whitelist, how many spots, and how many NFTs that we're actually adding to the whitelist as a whole. And that's going to be outlined pretty shortly as we kind of start offering up the whitelist spots and trying to get that locked in ahead of the Flip NFT mint. So yeah.
All right. Yeah, great answer. If anybody else has any other questions, feel free to raise your hands. But if not, then we can go ahead and wrap it up. It's been a phenomenal hour and 10 minutes. I mean, you guys, the amount of things that you guys have going on just baffles me. Like,
Yes.
like we're creating on our end, we're creating an NFT marketplace, and then I have a couple other things in the works. But then you guys are just like, oh yeah, we got these 10 things in the works plus these 5 other things, and then oh yeah, by the way, we're working on this huge metaverse game.
And all the
like,
tech
okay,
behind everything.
yeah, it's crazy.
So the last thing I wanted to just so that we can kind of get that out there in the video that we will be posting, if someone is trying to look into invest with either Accel or with your projects coming up, where would they look?
So AccelDefi.com is our main website, and you can find all of our socials available there. We have our Discord, which is discord.gg/AccelDefi as well, where we post updates there. We're actually going to be hosting that VC tomorrow in the space, and so that's where you can learn about like any of the project updates. Like I said, we are live on multi-chain, so you can also find the contract addresses for Ethereum and BNB side on the website. You can access our staking pools on the website as well. We'll have a link to the dApp there. So if you just go to acceldefi.com, for example, in your dApp browser, in your MetaMask or whatever, and you open it in there, that's where you can open the app and be able to get pretty much whatever you need or whichever side of the project from there.
And then Flip, PHLIP.io is the one for Flip, where you can go right on the website. You can pull up any information about the project, and you can actually go in. We have a link right in there, and you can create your own cards. We do have live games going on in the Discord right now, so you can hop in our Discord for Flip and start making your way up the leaderboard if you want.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, well, again, it's been phenomenal having you guys on. We really appreciate you taking the time, and we're looking forward to playing the Flip game. That's something I'm going to do after this AMA.
Yeah, hop into the Flip Discord, and I'll probably be there playing. So play over there.
Yeah, could you post a link to that Discord server into the Shill Your Projects channel? If you wouldn't mind doing that, that'd be great for everybody to join in after.
Yeah, of course.
That sounds fun. I will definitely be checking that out.
Yeah, we just wanted to, take a minute to thank you guys for having us on. It's awesome to get to sit down and just talk with about just about anyone in the space. We opened up about it. Some people are so turn offish, so it's awesome to be able to, have this relationship with your guys' community and be able to come in here and have this conversation.
Yeah, we're always here to support you. So if we can do anything going forward, and hopefully this AMA community that we're starting up grows, and we can have you guys back on in a couple of months when we have a lot of different people joining with us as well.
Most definitely, we'll bring some products to play with too.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys so much.
Have a great night.
Yep,
You too.
you as well.